Hi, I'm Jody Miller-Young of The Hound Healer, and this is Sophie, my little Sophie. And Halloween is around the corner. A lot of people tell you about how chocolate and xylitol are bad for dogs. We know this, but do we know why? And do we know what we can do? What can you do if you have a problem and your dog is in crisis, or you want to avoid a crisis after they've eaten some chocolate or xylitol? I'm going to tell you things that you can do. And we're doing it from an iconic place in Austin, Texas called Big Top Candy Shop. So let's go inside and find out more. This is Big Top Candy Shop, and it's been here forever. Think old school candy, like Charleston Chews, cherry sour balls. Look at this stuff, hot tamales, juju fruits, and a soda fountain where you can have egg creams. It's a really cool place. I've wanted to come here for a while. This is my new city of Austin, Texas, and I'm discovering it with you. So let's talk about Halloween and keeping our dogs safe. Well, these goodies look amazing. For us, if your dog was to get a hold of some of this, it would be a big problem, as you know. Same with the other candies, non-chocolate candies. In chocolate, we're talking about two compounds, two components that are the really, really dangerous components, and they are called theobromine and caffeine. And they're structurally, chemically almost identical, but they belong to a group of chemicals called methylxanthines. So what do methylxanthines do in a dog's body exactly? It affects the heart, the kidneys, the liver, and the central nervous system, and can cause failure in all of them, as well as heart arrhythmias. So we want to be very, very careful about leaving chocolate around. And the darker the chocolate, the more toxic it is to your dog. So with the dark baking chocolate being the most toxic. So what are we talking about in terms of toxicity levels that can actually cause a problem in our dogs? It doesn't take much. We are talking about 20 milligrams that will create a reaction. 40 to 50 will create a severe reaction in your pet. So what are the signs of chocolate poisoning or xylitol poisoning? It depends on how much your dog has eaten. If they haven't eaten a tremendous amount, or if it hasn't been too long since they've eaten it, you're going to see some vomiting, some diarrhea, maybe a distended abdomen. If it's been longer and they've moved into a more severe state of toxicity from the chocolate or the xylitol, then what you're going to see are things like an increased heart rate, restlessness, hyperactivity, excitement, nervousness, excessive panting, maybe increased thirst, increased urination, maybe muscle spasms, maybe even a seizure. There are things that you can do to mitigate this. Accidents happen. So if your dog should eat chocolate, if your dog should eat xylitol, which is the sweetener in candy that is toxic to dogs, before you even go to the vet, like the second you know it's happened, if it's been less than 2 hours, you should mix up a 50-50 solution of 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide in water, and give it via syringe to your dog. If you need to make it a little more palatable, if you have the time to do that, you can add a little honey. But otherwise, get it into your dog and start walking them around so it circulates and starts going into the system. And within 15 minutes or so, they should start vomiting. If they don't, give them a little more. Again, do not do this if it's been at least 2 hours since they've eaten the chocolate. If you're not sure, don't take a chance. Just get them to the ER. For that 50-50 solution of hydrogen peroxide and water, this is the recipe that you should follow. 1 teaspoon of hydrogen peroxide per 10 pounds of body weight of dog. In addition to hydrogen peroxide, another thing you should always keep in your house is activated charcoal. Once your dog has started vomiting, you can start giving them activated charcoal. The way you'll want to do that is in 1 cup of water, you want to add 5 heaping teaspoons of liquid activated charcoal, and then give them 1 teaspoon for every 25 pounds of dog and 2 teaspoons for over 25 pounds. What can you do on the way to the vet? I strongly recommend having a homeopathic kit at home because it is easy to give for acute situations. And in a situation with poisoning, Nux vomica and arsenicum are 2 go-to homeopathic remedies that can help tremendously on the way to the vet. With Nux vomica, you're looking for nervousness, hypersensitivity, wants to be left alone. There could very well be digestive upsets, which we would expect, some nausea, some oppressed breathing. If they're very restless, anxious, maybe there's a coldness to their limbs or parts of their body, and there's great fear, then arsenicum is a great remedy to choose. And what you would do is take 2 pellets. Don't touch the pellets. Tap them into the cap of the remedy tube and pop them into your dog's mouth. They do not need to swallow them. They do not need to wait until they dissolve because the medicine is on the outside of those little pellets. So all they need to do is touch a mucous membrane and you're good. I would do that every 15 minutes on the way to the vet. As soon as you know what's happened, get these things into them. If it's been under 2 hours, hydrogen peroxide and water, 50-50 solution, and then followed by liquid activated charcoal and homeopathy. Watch your animal. Make sure there's no candy around your animal. And if you have young children, make sure that they're not dropping candy on the floor as they go that your dog is then eating up. One other thing that's very important is their mental health. During Halloween, a lot of strangers at the door, a lot of activity around the house and outside the house. Keep them safe. If they're reactive, keep them away from people and find their safe place in the house until it's all over. It could be their crate. It could be your bedroom. It could be just where they feel comfortable. If they're very social, make sure that you keep them on a lead if they're going to the door, or keep them in a part of the house where they can't get out the door, because the last thing you want is for a loud noise to spook your animal and they run out the door and now you have a lost dog. So I know it's a lot to digest, but hopefully you'll be mindful about all of this and then have a great time and enjoy your Halloween. Sophie, want to say bye-bye? Bye-bye from me and Sophie. This is Jody Miller-Young with the Hound Dealer.